Alright everybody, just doing a little video today showing how I paint some 28mm Bavarians. You cannot see that, so I will put pictures up. I apologize. But yeah, this is just how I paint some 28mm Bavarians. Kind of a long video. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I'll be back at the end. Alright, so this is where we are. I didn't show doing the white just because it was with an airbrush, so I don't think anybody wants to see me airbrush, and it's loud. Obviously it's not done. You can see it's a little speckly there. And then I just did a base coat of the blue, so that's kind of where we'll be starting. For the base coat of the blue, I just used some of the Warpaints Fanatic Ultramarine Blue, and then I'm using a little bit of this Adriatic blue from Scale Color 75, mixing it into highlight. Just trying to get everything but like the real recesses. But I do want the majority of this blue to be this color just because it's the Bavarians were a, you know, kind of that baby blue, sky blue color for their uniforms. So I don't want too much of that dark blue to be shown through. But yeah, I got 8 of these guys I'm painting at once, so I'm not going to show all 8 of them. I'll switch it up a little bit, show some of the different models as I go along, but yeah. That's what I'm doing. I want most of the blue to be covered up there, but just a little bit of that dark blue shown through. And then I'll go over a couple times with this Adriatic blue just to really make sure I get that blue to be closer to the color. This is what I'm going to kind of end up at. Excuse me. But yeah, it'll take me a few passes to get there. Next I'll just be using some straight Adriatic. Alright, now I'm just using that straight Adriatic blue. And I'm just going in here, picking out, same thing, the raised edges here. Just trying not to get in the recesses like I did there, but it'll be okay. This is the sapper, so he doesn't have as much stuff to paint. He'll have a lot more white, which yeah, not going to be the funnest, but yeah, that's where we're at with him. I'll come back in with a little bit of this mixed in just for kind of like an edge highlight, but yeah, I'll show that here in a second. He also doesn't have the shoulder cuffs or whatever you're going to call these to paint, so I don't got to worry about that with him. Alright, now I'm using a little bit of that Aguilar blue mixed with the aquatic blue, and just doing kind of some edge highlighting here, getting some of this off my brush. I'm also just going to pull some of it up. I got it pretty thin, just trying to keep it a little transparent here. But yeah. And I'll just do that to all of them, and then that's pretty much going to complete the blue. I'm going to be using some beige red mixed into some dark magenta just for my base coat for my skin tones. Nothing crazy here. Just want a little bit darker of a color starting out for my skin tones. It's going to be a little bit pinkish, but that's going to be okay. I think it's going to come through good. And that's kind of what we're going to start with. It'll also help me kind of keep the shadows a somewhat decent color. I don't want, super deep shadows on the skin like muscle islands. Also, I do not know what happened with this when I 3D printed it. All the rest of these models look fine. Even ones with hands in kind of weird positions, kind of like the standard bearer here. But this one's hands are jacked up. Like you can kind of see it here. It's like barely connected. And then it's kind of got some weird stuff going on over here too. You'll see it better once I get it painted. But it's like barely, it looks like it was glued on, but it wasn't. This was 100% 3D printed as the complete model. I am not trying to be anything close to neat at this step. Kind of try to paint methodically when I'm doing these miniatures. I always do the white last because that's going to allow me to cover up a lot of mistakes by just simply doing the white last. And I'm going to have to do several layers with this paint, but that's okay because I have 8 models to paint. You can't see them all, kind of out of focus. Let me back it up out of here. There you go. I got 8 models. So by the time I get to the 8th one, it'll be time to come back around to this one and do a second coverage of that pink. Right now I'm just going to use some of that just red beige, or I'm sorry, beige red by itself to highlight. The second pass I did throw a little bit of that into that mix just to bring it down a little bit. So that's just kind of where we're at right now. And I'm just going to try to get some of this stuff. The nose. Try to come in here, get the upper lip. The lower lip. The chin. Then just trying to not get the recess, but get the cheek. Leave a little bit of shadow in there. Get the jawline. Same thing over here. Get the jawline. Draw the cheek down a little bit. Leave a little bit of shadow in there. And I will bring this up a little bit more. I'm going to brighten it up just a little bit. Because right now, he's looking a little zombie-ish. He doesn't have much color to him. So I'm going to keep bringing it up. Hit the nose again. That'll help. Get that upper lip. It is really nice when these are sculpted with mustaches because then I don't have to paint the upper lip. Which I guess you don't have to anyways, but as always, I suffer from I know. Nobody else will know that I didn't paint it, but I will. Just run a line of this across his brow, and that helped a lot. He looks alive. He doesn't look too much like a zombie right now, which is good. Because he is not a zombie. That would not be correct. Hit the nostril, and yeah, I'll get his hand. Just trying not to get the recesses. And then I will do a couple more passes on the skin that I'll show you guys. I'll leave his cuff in the shadow. couple more passes on the skin just to bring up the highlights a little bit more. Just because I think I can make them look better. And then at the end I will pick out the eyes, but we'll save that. All right, we'll come back and I'll show you where I take the skin from here. All right, thanks guys. All right, now I just mixed in a little bit of ice yellow into that skin tone, and I'm going to just do a little bit of highlights on the skin here. So get the nose, the lip, a little bit of the chin. That's kind of where we're at. Not too bad. Then I'll just do the hands, and that'll be good enough for the skin tone for now. I'll come back in later, add some eyes in, but yeah, that's good enough for the skin tone for me. So we will move on to the yellows. All right, now I'm just going to base coat all the yellow and brown parts with some brown. Makes sense, right? Base coat the brown parts with brown. Yeah. I'm a genius. Again, not trying to be neat over these white spots because I will just come back in over them. Nothing too crazy. Ugh, I got a lot of paint on that brush. Way too much. It's okay. Yeah, some people probably wouldn't use the same exact brown for all this, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. This warm brown definitely does well. Definitely works well for going over top of the yellow. So I do like to use this underneath stuff that I'm painting yellow. It works very good. Not worried about hitting the rifle because I'm going to come over and paint it the same color anyways. And I can adjust those colors the more I paint. I'll use a couple inks and stuff once we get to the rifle. Going to paint some basically grains of the wood on there. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with the browns. Like I said, I'll go ahead and paint the wood of the rifle. Trying not to get the fingers. But yeah, that's where we're at. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going to paint the bag brown just because it's going to be more of an ochre. I could paint the canteen brown, but I think we'll do something a little different with that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for now. Here we are after the brown. So I got all the yellow bits highlighted, all the brown bits highlighted. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. As you can see, some of this white is definitely going to need to be gone over, but that's okay. I'll show one of the ones with the weapon too. There where we are. Oh, missed his cuff there. I got to get that cuff. I'm just going to be going in with some black and getting all these black areas. So the helmet, the shoes, the cartridge container, that type of stuff. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be trying. I will try to be a little bit careful when I'm doing these boots and stuff, just because I don't want to have to go over the bottoms of the pants. But I could always, if I do, just add some pigments, kind of make them look like they're weathered. I can't imagine these guys kept their pants incredibly clean on campaign. I could be wrong, but I'm not. Yeah. So there you see getting the boots. That little bit where it's stuck to the blue tack. Won't be able to get that, but it won't show up anyways. And then I'll just get the helmet. I'm going to go over the whole thing, including what I'll come back over as gold, just because there's no reason really for me to be trying to not get those tiny gold bits. It's easier to just paint over the whole thing and come back over and hit the gold bits. So yeah, I'll keep doing this. I'm not gonna videotape the whole thing. I think you guys get the point, and then I'll be back afterwards. Now I'm going to take some light umber mixed with just a little bit of yellow, and I'm just going to use that to highlight the wood and the sapper's beard. Yeah, I just want to kind of make some streaks on the wood, kind of give it a little bit of texture. That will help it when I put the ink on it, that wood ink. Do a little bit here too. Definitely not a needed step, but it's one I like to do. Put some on this rifle stock here too. Just some streaks. Could also go back in with some black too, put some darker streaks in. That would really help with that wood effect also. And I'm just going to take some more of this and I'm going to just pick out the mustache. If you can hear my dogs barking, I'm sorry. They're doing road work by my house and my dogs do not enjoy that. They're not a fan of union employees. I don't know what it is. I don't know what those guys' problem is. But yeah, I'm just going to keep highlighting his beard, and then I'll be back. Alright, here we go. I got the beard highlighted. I can live with that. And then I did go ahead and put some black on the wood bits. Came out a little bit better on the axe than it did the rifle. We'll see how these comes out once I put that wood ink on there. Wood brown from AK Inks. But yeah, we're going to stop there and we are going to move on to the yellow. Get the yellow bits knocked out. And then from there, metallics. And we should be dang near 90% done, except for the white. Got to come in, highlight all the whites, which will be a pain. But yeah, we'll go on to the yellows. The two yellow colors I'm going to use. I'm going to start with this fiendish yellow. Hopefully that's word. And then we're going to move into this demonic yellow. But yeah, I'll be back. Start with that. All right, just going to be taking some of that, whatever the hell it was called, yellow. That's the new name for it, actually. I'm going to reach out to them and tell them they should change this to whatever the hell it's called, yellow. Much more descriptive, I think. Yeah. Just trying to hit all the yellow bits, leave a little bit of that brown in there, but not too much. Be a little bit of a pain sometimes trying to get into these real tight spaces. And then just getting the neck. Like that. Back in here, get the cuff. Trying not to get where it's gonna I completely forgot what I was going to say because I'm focusing on painting. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little streaky, but I'm really not worried about that because I want to go back over with that other yellow, and I want a little bit of the brown shown through. But yeah, I'm going to finish in all these yellow bits. It's going to take me like 30 minutes for all these figures, but we'll be back after that, and I'll kind of show you where I go from there. All right. Excuse me. Now I'm just going in with this a little bit of brighter yellow. I think it's the demonic yellow. And I'm just going to try and stick to the middle portions of the jacket. I think that'll help make it pop a little bit. And then for the cuffs, kind of the same thing. I got to turn the model here a little bit. But same thing. Not going to hit the whole thing. Just kind of make some streaks along them. Same thing over here. And then that's kind of where the yellow's at. I think that looks pretty good. I have to go back in and get the buttons with the metallics, but I'll get the collar. I'll show you where this guy's at. The drummer with his yellow. I'm happy with that. I can live with that. I need to do a little bit of research before I paint the drum. I was going to paint the straps yellow, but I think they need to be more of a cream color. All right, I'll be back. Now I'm just going in with some of this red. This is a darker red, burnt red. There you go. Getting all the red bits. This guy doesn't have as much trim, so got to get the cuffs. And these cuffs actually go onto the jacket also, so they can be a little bit finicky to get. But get the cuffs. Then these shoulder pads. I know that's not the correct term. You'll have to forgive me. And then once I do them, I'll come up here and I'll get this, whatever it's called. My terminology is not the best right now, or ever for that matter, but yeah. But I'll do that, do all these guys. I'll show you this guy again. I got a lot of his red trim done. Kind of got a little bit of brown tinge to it, but yeah. You can see I got the cuffs, all the trim on the coat. Show this one too, be a little bit better. See, I got the trim down there, going up the sides, on the cuffs, the shoulder pads, and then I'll come back in and I'll highlight those with the brighter red. All right, now I'm just going to be using some of this bold Pyrel red to highlight the red bits, and a lot of this is just trim. So it's painstaking, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hit all of it. Just going to try to hit some of the bits to give it a little bit of pop. Now you can see why I paint the white last. I got some red on that trim right there. I'm not worried about it because I'll go over it with white. But yeah, just hitting these red bits. Again, not getting all of it, just going to give it a little bit of a pop. I will mix a little bit of this yellow in with some red and do a final highlight, but that will be later. Get the top of these cuffs. And then I'll just go around the whole model and do that. Kind of hard to pick up here, but yeah. Try to brighten up the red a little bit. All right, I'll be back. So here's the red all done. Show it on this guy. He's got the most red, so it's the easiest one. Yep. Got the trim done. I'll show another one here. We'll show the standard bearer. See the red on him. All right. Now I think we will move on to the metal. We'll knock out the metals. Silver will be easy, and then we will go from there. Now I'm going to be using some dark ivory just to get the straps. I want the straps to be a little bit of a different color than the white pants, the trousers, and then the sapper's apron. They'll be closer than this, but this is just basically the first color I'm using. So I'm just going to hit all the straps. Then he's got his little cover for his axe. I'll hit that. I am trying to cover up pretty much all of this. I don't really want any of this pure white using that I used to do the zenithal showing. See, that's a little bit too thin, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it. Get up here. Get in the front a little bit. And I'll just go around. I'll pick out these straps. I'll get his scabbard for the sword. I'll also probably do this color. And then we'll be back and I'll show you one of the other models once I'm done with the dark ivory. Okay. Here we are after the ivory. The dark ivory. I apologize. But there it is. Excuse me. I'll just show a couple more. As you can see, it's pretty rough. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go right over it with some ivory and then some bright ivory just to bring up the straps a little bit. And from there, we'll move on to the whites. And then the last thing we'll do is, well, not the last thing. We'll do the metallics, and then I will do the black bits, highlight them a little bit, and then we'll do this. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's move on. All right, so now I'm using that bright ivory, and I'm just trying to pick up almost everything, but not quite everything for the straps. Basically everything but the recesses. I do want there to be just a little bit of variance. Like obviously I don't want it to be bright up under there, so I'm not going to get that. But I'm just going to go over pretty much, I would say 90% of the straps. Basically everything I hit with that dark ivory, I'll hit with this. Some of the areas I'll go over a few times. And then I'll mix in some white and go over them one more time. And we'll be back for that. And here we are after the second highlight on the straps. They're looking fairly good. Now I will just use a little bit of pure bright to finish up the highlights. We'll be back after that, and then I'll start doing some of the trousers and the apron on the sapper. All right, we'll be back after that. So here we are after highlighting the straps. Just show a couple of these guys off. So there you can see the scabbard for the his axe. I want to have a little bit of difference between the pants and the straps, so they're a little bit more creamy, hopefully, than the pants. I mean, if they end up being the same color, then okay. but I'm at least wanted to attempt to make them a different color. So here you can see some of them. All right, now I'm going to start highlighting all the white bits. Probably not on him, but yeah, nothing too crazy here. I'm just going to slowly work my way up. Just kind of picking out everything except the recesses. I'm using a bright ivory mixed with the white. I don't want them to be completely white, but I don't want them to be completely dark either. That zenithal highlight and then going over the pants with just a white before I even started painting anything else really helps. I shouldn't have to do too much work here. I'm going to have to do some, but again, I do want these to have some variation from the strap. Again, they're both white, so you know you can only do so much variation, but as much as I can, I'm going to try to make them varied. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of at after the first coat. You can see they're a little bit different there, and I can live with that. That right there is okay. I will add a little bit of pure white in on the highlights just for a little bit of contrast. You know, I like that word. And then that'll pretty much be it. But yeah, doing that zenithal, then going over with a thin ivory white, a little bit of thin ivory mixed with white, mixed with a little bit of that sky blue, or agua blue, sorry. It's pretty thin, as you can see when I'm mixing that. I mean, it just comes right off the brush, so that kind of tells you how thin it is. And then I can even go over it again with just this. So I'll bring it up here a little closer so you guys can see. Well, you know, I want to highlight that knee. I can just go over it again with this. Just dragging it down. And let it dry there. Do the same thing up here. Same thing on this side. Just dragging that thin paint down towards the knee. And I can live with that. All right, we'll be back once I finish all these guys. Okay, and I'm pretty much done with the pants. So here's kind of where we're at. I want a little bit darker than you can see on this guy, just to give me a little bit of a contrast between the straps. Here's the sapper. Happy with how he turned out. Now I just have to do all the gold bits, which should be fun, and then figure out how I'm going to paint this. Hopefully not freehand, because that just sounds like a pain. But yeah, I'm going to start the gold bits. I will be back to show that in a few. Thank you. Now I'm going to paint all the gold bits with the Speed Paint Metallics Glittering Loot. I love the Speed Paint Metallics. They just work absolutely great. And I'm just going to pick out all the gold bits. So all these buttons. And for these buttons, what I'll do is I'll come back and put a wash around them so it picks them out a little bit more. It's probably hard to see them there on camera. But yeah, I'll get all the gold bits. So a little bit right there. The button on the boots. Some of this stuff probably isn't supposed to be gold, but I'm going to make it gold just to make it stand out a little bit. Yeah. Got to get the helmet. I won't spare you guys, or I'll spare you guys painting, you know, the entire helmet. I'll just show you when it's finished. But yeah. Painting the chin strap. All that. And then back here on the ammo pouch, just painting in the emblem. A little bit of freehand. Not the greatest, but it'll work. Alright, I'll be back once I'm done just to kind of show you how it looks when it's finished. Alright, and here we are after the metallic bits are painted. As you can see, the buttons are kind of hard to make out. On this guy they're good, but some of the other ones are hard to make out. So I will go over them, all the metallic bits with a wash, just to make them pop out a little bit. Here you can see the sapper. Here you can see the drummer. Alright, I'll be back after that. Right. So we are back after using the wash on the metallics and some other stuff. So I did the bed rolls. As much as I hate it, I did the bed rolls. And then I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I went ahead and painted the eyes. So here you can kind of see where we're at with this guy. See if I can turn the, oh, that's not right. That's not what we want. There we go. That's a little better. So, got the eyes done on him. I'd say that face looks pretty good. That's a cool face. Wouldn't want to see it, you know, in the middle of the night. That'd probably scare the shit out of you, but yeah. I want to call these guys done for now. I am not going to paint this right now just because I need a little bit of a break. Yeah, I'm not committing to any freehand right now. I will paint that at a later date. But yeah, 8 more Bavarians done. Got the kind of command crew here. You know, I already got the officer done, but yeah, he's got kind of a crazy looking face going on there. But yeah. So, I'm happy with that. I will consider that to be a success. 8 more of these guys. So that gives me, I'm not too sure, but should be roughly enough for a unit. But yeah, that's where we're at. I hope you guys liked the video. That's just how I kind of paint them. Kind of a quick paint job. I think I did a pretty good job matching the color scheme with these guys. Again, I went a little bit darker on the pants this time, but I think it turned out okay. Alright guys, thank you. Guys, and that is how I paint 28mm Bavarians. I hope you enjoyed the video. This puts me at, I don't know, roughly enough kind of for a unit. I think I'll need to probably do, I'm counting here, I might need to do like another 6 or so. But yeah, this was a process for me. I mean, this took me every bit of 8 hours to paint these guys, but it's just how I paint. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I take forever. So yeah, maybe by like 2057 I'll have enough units to play a game with. That's a realistic goal, I think. 2057 I should have enough to play a game with. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, talk to you guys later. Bye.